good evening, everybody. It's so great to be here for round two of our live events. On our launch day, we are so excited to welcome you to this event. So, my name is Lisa Pinnock. I had the honor of being the lead author of this fabulous compilation, Uncover Your Light, Empowering Stories of Hope and Resilience. And wow, let me tell you what journey this has been to get from conception to publication. I don't take any of those hills and valleys for granted because they were all part of an amazing process. And I think that all my co-authors would agree that it was one where we uncovered our light individually and then also as a community. So again, thank you for being here, for taking whatever portion of your evening to be with us and to celebrate because wow, we've got some celebrating to do, especially well, even more so than this afternoon because more news keeps filtering in from our Amazon launch, and this is where you can help. So as of not too long ago, like within the last hour, we are number 25 in the happiness category of bestsellers. Woo! And we're number 4 in the motivational hot new release category. Woo, woo, woo. So if you haven't gotten your copy yet, there's time. Just go right ahead and have just click on the link for either Amazon in Canada if that's where you are. We also are available in the US, and grab a copy for yourself or for a loved one. And if you already have a copy, get another one for a friend because Christmas is coming. Like before you know it, we're going to be there and you're going to be thinking of cool gift ideas. Well, how about 21 inspiring stories to share with someone that you love? I think they would appreciate it. I know I would. So it's great to be able to have that option to give to others. So we are gearing up to hear from 8 wonderful co-authors. We had 8 this afternoon, and now another group is going to share their insights and a bit of their chapters with us today. And can't wait to start that ball rolling. But to set up a framework for our evening, I have the distinct pleasure of reading for you from the introduction, which I wrote for Uncover Your Light, and also a bit of my chapter. I chose these sections because I think they really do give you some behind the scenes look into how this book came together. And that was no small feat, but anything worth having is worth working towards. And I'm sure that the lovely ladies, the lovely 20 women that I had the privilege of working with would agree. So here we go. My deep gratitude goes out to the talented, heart-centered, courageous women I had the honor of working alongside to create our compilation, Uncover Your Light. These stories of hope and strength are about being the best version of yourself, which is a profound act of self-love. The 20 co-authors who share their stories have faced their fears when the path ahead seemed dark and unknown, and they want to provide a roadmap for others who are on similar journeys. They offer insights from lived experiences that can serve as a survival guide for women from all walks of life. Our co-authors live in 3 different countries: Canada, the US, and England. And actually, I have to change that now because one of our co-authors in England has since moved to Qatar. So we really have an international base in our lovely writing community. And that means a whole lot to me. They represent a greater spectrum of diversity than their geographical locations would show. The array of various backgrounds and cultures has created a rich tapestry of experiences that come through in their writings. Their professions cover a wide range from life coaching, health and wellness, finance, education, philanthropy, entrepreneurship, and more. The topics within these chapters are widely relatable, yet deeply personal and unique. They address issues such as family breakdown and rebuilding life from scratch, personal trauma and upheaval, journeys of self discovery and finding your inner strength, discovering your worth and living with purpose, and so much more. You, our dear reader, will walk away with fresh insights, life lessons, and a multitude of practical tips that you can implement in your daily life. So, what does it mean to uncover your light? How would that unfold in your personal situation? What would the process look and feel like? For each of us, the answers will be vastly different. But the ways in which we approach life's challenges and the tools we use to overcome them are intertwined with common threads. Through these words, our intention is to give you a framework to begin to unravel any complexities that may exist in your life. When we shine our lights brightly, we become beacons of hope radiating throughout the world, and we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. Each of us has a voice and message that matters, and bringing them to light will create ripple effects that will last way beyond the lifespan of this book. This is how we can change both our inner landscapes and the outer world, by witnessing our truth, one story at a time. So that's just a bit of the introduction to give you a context of where my mind was at when I thought of this idea of uncovering your light, and what would that mean for not only each of the women who wrote in this compilation, but for each of our readers. And now I'm just going to share with you a short excerpt from my chapter, which is called Becoming the Light. It only takes a spark. One of the guiding tenets of this compilation was a question I asked myself repeatedly. How do we shine our light brightly when we've lost touch with who we are? From the moment I envisioned the book you're reading right now, I felt this point of inquiry deserved exploration, and that looking within would be the only pathway to move us through the darkness. There are things in our lives, upheaval, loss, pain, disappointment, that come about to crack us open, to lay bare the assumptions we hold about ourselves and others, to bring awareness to our programming and patterns that can keep us stuck on a never-ending hamster wheel of our own making. But here's what I've come to learn through some of the darkest moments. They provide opportunities to trust ourselves and the light shining within us, even when that light has been dimmed to a mere flicker. Being a light for others begins with igniting our inner spark. Sounds simple enough, yet it's profoundly challenging when we can't see a clear pathway ahead. For me, it has always come down to an unshakable knowing of God's love and being created with a light that cannot be extinguished. That belief serves as a foundation for my life's purpose, keeping me grounded in my oneness with an unending source of abundance and goodness. One particular song, and for those who don't know, I'm also a musician and a music teacher, Oceans by Hillsong Worship, struck a chord deep within me from the first time I heard it. And here's how the opening goes. You call me out upon the waters, great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. These lyrics reminded me that we were never promised smooth waters at all times. When the waves came crashing down in my life, I found strength and solace in my God given light to bring me safely back to shore. Thank you for listening. And I hope that you will dive into all the chapters in this book and find solace and comfort and hope in the words there. Oh, thank you, Carol. I'm so glad that you enjoyed that song. Yes, it's definitely one of those that got me through a lot of dark moments. Music does that for me every time. So now, wow, right on cue, we are ready to move on to our first co-author who will be joining me on our live. And I would love to introduce you to this beautiful lady, Shruti Singh. She has the honor of being the last co-author to join this compilation. And believe me, that was not by accident. It was absolutely uh, destined to be. So I will let her tell you more about that process. But for now, I love her quote. Let me read it for you. Give a woman a garden and yoga, and she will save the world. Oh, you're going to be in for a treat because Shruti is coming on next, and she will be sharing some of her light with you. Welcome, my friend.
Hello. Hi. My name is Shruti, and my pronouns are she, her. I'd like to begin with some land acknowledgement. We just had
Yes.
Thanksgiving the past weekend, so I'm grateful to be on the ancestral land of the Huron Wendat, the Seneca, the Haudenosaunee, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit. It gives me a lot of gratitude that I am over here. So thank you for having me today.
It's my pleasure. And thank you for starting us off with that land acknowledgement. We do that at school every day. I'm also a teacher, and it means a lot to be centered in that knowledge and to
Hmm.
start off all of our events with that in mind. So
Yeah.
thank you for doing that for us, Shruti. I am so happy that you are able to start off our live with some of the things that I guess you've been putting into practice for quite some time, but people in our audience and our readers will learn more about the things that you've come to discern through reading your chapter. Of course, a lot of what you do and what you stand for is it's just about tuning in inwards. And we're going to get the chance to do that in a profound way with some affirmations. So, oh, I got to read you some of these awesome comments. Yes, Shruti, always shining such a bright light, says Marcia. And Julie,
Thank you. Thank you.
Shruti Singh has such gentle energy. Absolutely. So I'm going to let you take it away and lead us through these affirmation exercises.
Thank you. Lisa, though I was the last author to join, it was basically your light that guided me to this project. So I'm really grateful
Mm.
to be part of it. Uh, so I'd like all of us to go through some affirmations of gratitude. And to begin, I'd invite you to sit up a little forward, scoot yourself away and from the backrest of your chair. put your feet down to ground yourself, and we will be going through some affirmations, because affirmations offer us inspiration and support in building capacity to identify and remember gratitude each day. And being grateful each day is really connecting with your light. I feel. So, from research, we know that something must be repeated 7 times to be remembered. So, each affirmation we'll be going through six. Each affirmation I will be repeating 7 times, and I will be ringing a bell so you know that we are going to start on a new affirmation. So, to begin, I'd invite you to place your right hand on your chest, your left hand on your belly, and take a deep centering breath. When you breathe in, engage the diaphragm. So, breathe in and fill your belly up with air. May these practices heal our body and strengthen our mind. I'm grateful for the gifts I receive from others. I'm grateful for the gifts I receive from others. I'm grateful for the gifts I receive from others. I'm grateful for the gifts I receive from others. I'm grateful for the gifts I receive from others. I'm grateful for the gifts I receive from others. I'm grateful for the gifts I receive from others. My heart holds gratitude towards others, myself, and the greater good. My heart holds gratitude towards others, myself, and the greater good. My heart holds gratitude towards others, myself, and the greater good. My heart holds gratitude towards others, myself, and the greater good. My heart holds gratitude towards others, myself, and the greater good. My heart holds gratitude towards others, myself, and the greater good. My heart holds gratitude towards others, myself, and the greater good. I'm open to receive and give love. 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 I release hurts through compassion, kindness, and thankfulness. 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 I'm grateful for my health. I am 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 grateful for my health. I rejoice in the way things are. 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 I'm grateful for the gifts I receive from others. My heart holds gratitude towards others, myself, and the greater good. I'm open to receive and give love. I release hurts through compassion, kindness, and thankfulness. I'm grateful for my health. I rejoice in the way things are. Uh, Kindly close your eyes and breathe in. May these practices heal our body and strengthen our minds. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Shruti. That was so lovely and grounding and expansive. I could feel as I was repeating the words, and I do agree with what you said about repetition. It really does bring things not only to the forefront of our mind, but it gets into us on a soul, on a heart level that is so much deeper when we repeat things like a mantra. And that was just lovely. Oh, I'm
Thank you.
sure that there are so many people in the chat who are saying the same. Yes, Sylvia, one of our volume 2 co-authors, said that was so beautiful. Thank you. And Carol Ward is saying, yes, it was so lovely. Totally agree. So thanks again for starting off our live today with a practice that I think we can all take away and adapt and use in our own lives. And this is the beauty of sharing these tips and nuggets of wisdom in this forum, is that it has a ripple effect, right?
Mm,
I can imagine so many people who are watching you tonight or hearing this maybe later on a replay, that they will take this into their lives and use it for the greater good, as we said. So
yes. The
beautiful.
These affirmations can be said aloud, said quietly to ourselves, or even journal daily in the morning.
Yeah.
That sometimes when it's quiet, I prefer just journaling these affirmations, even
Yeah.
like 10 times each affirmation, but it brings you to appreciate life and builds a capacity for gratitude, and that's all
Mhm.
what we all need, the capacity for gratitude for life.
100%. Gratitude is where it's at, because you can't focus on your problems and your woes and be grateful at the same time.
Mhm.
One just obliterates the other. So that is really true, what you're sharing with us. And I'm so grateful. Yes, affirmations build capacity for gratitude for your life. I love all the messages that are scrolling through, and you can connect with Shruti both on Facebook, which her link is there. Her username is her name, Shruti Singh, and also you're on other channels, I'm sure, but you can definitely reach her on Facebook at that link. So we would definitely encourage you to follow her journey. And thank you for being here. I'm
Thank
I
you.
feel so relaxed now. I'm just ready for a nice Zen moment, and but we have the rest of the show to do. So
Yes, yes,
thank
looking forward to that. Shall we do a
oh me.
book picture?
Yes, we should. Absolutely. And let's see. I'm going to do a little check-in with Louisa. You're next. I'm just going to let our next our next author know that she is up, and then we're going to do a picture. Yes. All right. Let's see. Yes, hold the book up. I really need to wear my glasses. Okay, there we go. Got it. Thank you, my
I
dear.
uh, I hope people buy and read the chapters. Lisa, you have been inspirational to all of us, leading us through it. I'm so grateful and thankful for you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you so much for being here and for, like I said, setting the tone so beautifully for our evening live. I think that is just, well, I know for sure, I speak for myself, that's what I needed to just turn within and to let those words wash over me. So it was really special. And we shall continue chatting about our journey on social media. So please follow Shruti and all the co-authors to see how things are continuing, and to also just check in and see how the affirmations are going with in your life. I'm sure that Shruti would love to hear how that's working for you. So awesome. Well, Shruti, thanks again, my dear. We will talk
Bye.
soon.
Bye.
And good evening. Oh, she's such a bright light. And we are going to go on to our next portion of our evening. We have another co-author joining us uh, in a moment, and we will hear from Louisa Tam very soon. Okay, so we're going to perhaps go to another co-author. We're going to see who is ready to go soon. Leslie is here. Wonderful. All right. So we're going to bring on Leslie James. Now, oh, this is very special for me to introduce this lady because of all the wonderful women I've had the privilege of working with over this last year and a half. Leslie and I go way back. We are childhood friends from Jamaica and grew up together. She was actually a student of my mom's, and my mom was a piano teacher back in the day. Now she's long since retired, but I am really grateful to be able to introduce you to her. Let me just read for you her beautiful quote. Sharing your stories of invisible illnesses empowers you to recognize that you are not alone. Discovering what makes you glow is the first step to living life fully on your terms. So let us welcome into the house Leslie James. Hey, how are you, my dear? Welcome, welcome.
Lisa, my dear friend, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. You have such a beautiful introduction I watched earlier today. Thank you for having me on this live. I'm excited.
I am too. And as I said in your intro, we really go way back. I mean, to the point that to when I have memory is how far back we're talking. And so it's a lifetime of a friendship and of memories. And when I asked you about, you were for sure one of the first people that I asked about being part of Uncover Your Light. I was just so thrilled when you said yes, because I felt very strongly that this was for you. So please go
I'm
ahead and share. Tell us about what you're doing. these days, and how uncovering your light has been incorporated into your life.
Yes. So thank you, Lisa. You know, my name is Leslie James. I live in Markham, Ontario, which is north of Toronto, Canada. And I am an end of life educator, a grief doula, and now a published author. So my life, just like all of us, took a 180. Never did expect this, but grief drew me to this, and this is definitely a calling. I work and I volunteer in the bereavement sector, and it brings me comfort and peace of mind to sit with families on one of their darkest days. So the reason I'm sharing my story and what my story is about is loss of health, and that's grief of a different kind. So over 22 years ago, I was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease called Addison's disease, and subsequently also diagnosed with fibromyalgia and irritable bowel syndrome, also known as IBS. So, I see myself as an advocate for people living with chronic illnesses and invisible illnesses. And my daughter also, my son also was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 8. So that is an autoimmune type 1. So I volunteer with Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and want to be an advocate for people living with invisible illnesses and rare diseases. So here I am. After 22 years, I thought it was time to share my story. May I start by reading a bit of my chapter? Okay, so I wrote chapter 6 in Uncover Your Light, volume 1. I named my chapter From Pain to Purpose. And I'm just going to go through parts of it. You'll have to get the book to read the rest. Like many of us, my world has been partially filled with shattered dreams, personal losses, some trauma, and of course, grief. In May 2000, I was diagnosed with Addison's disease, a serious and rare autoimmune disease wherein the body does not produce cortisol. Cortisol is the primary stress hormone produced in the cortex, the outer part of the adrenal glands. I promise this is not going to get too much science. You can Google it. But because I have Addison's disease, my cortex layer is damaged and does not produce cortisol. So I need to take the hormone orally in order to survive. I'm going to skip through some of this. You may have heard that when the body experiences stress, the fight or flight response is initiated, which triggers the release of adrenaline. In the 22 years I've lived with Addison's disease, I always chose flight. I experienced my fair share of stressors and too many overreactions to stress. Sadly, my health became impaired due to chronic activation of this survival mechanism and the imbalance of cortisol. For example, in March of 2020, at the start of the pandemic, self-preservation mode kicked in, which caused me to leave a full-time job. I am sharing my story as it's my time to fight, to be strong, build, cultivate, and nurture resiliency. Will it be easy? No. But I now have the experience, wisdom, and determination to implement the coping strategies I've learned. I'm tired of being tired. So that's just a sampling of a bit of my chapter, Lisa. And before I forget, because this is so super important to me, in addition to, thanking you and everyone else in the book, I just want to dedicate my chapter to my favorite lantern bearers. So, my parents, to my sisters, and to my children, with love and gratitude. And you'll have to read my chapter to hear all about lantern bearers.
I'm so glad that you brought that up. That is a theme in your chapter that I found so intriguing because it's not a concept that I was familiar with. I think many will find it meaningful once they unravel what the meaning is behind it. And I love how you talked about nurturing resiliency because that's such an often overlooked point that we feel, I think, as women especially, that we always have to be strong. But you cannot do much from an empty cup. And filling yourself back up in so many of the ways that you spoke about in your chapter, and many of our co-authors did a beautiful job of pointing the needle to the importance of self-care. But that really struck a chord for me, that we need to nurture resiliency within ourselves because there are times when that is going to wane. It's like an ebb and flow. So yes, I'm so glad that you read that of your chapter, that portion of your chapter. And yes, you'll need to get the book to find out all about lantern bearers in chapter
Yes.
6.
And for anybody who buys there
Yeah.
is I have some tips I want to share. And I'll just, lantern bearers was just simply my word for community. You can call the people who you lean on for support, however you refer to them.
Mm, yes. 100%. Someone on LinkedIn is just echoing what I had mentioned, that nurturing resilience is such a powerful concept. And just throughout this writing process and what has come forth from our project, I see so many nuggets of insight and wisdom that can be applied to our everyday lives. We had Shruti a moment ago doing this beautiful meditation that involved affirmations, and how powerful it is to just repeat those words over and over. And then now you, Leslie, sharing about resiliency, and also the importance of your community, of your lantern bearers. That really is comforting. Could you please share your tagline, if I can call it that?
Sure, absolutely. I became a Willow EOL educator. And EOL stands for end of life. But really, it's all about life and living life fully. And I offer workshops remotely and in person, virtually. Um, and one of the most amazing courses that I took was something called 7 Tools for Making Sense of Life and Death. And I did a deep dive, and one section of that course, we were invited to explore our core values. And it was not something I had done it before. Now I have established my core values. How I did this was sitting with people, and I work in a funeral home, and I volunteer with the Bereavement Ontario Network. 3 words kept coming up, and those words were grief, fear, and pain. And I thought, how can I help people on one of their darkest days? And what is Leslie all about? And my core values I determined to be love, wisdom, and comfort. And I believe that love softens grief, that wisdom embraces fear, and that comfort soothes pain.
That is such a beautiful set of beliefs and values to live by. And I am just so, so proud and grateful to have you on this journey with me, my friend. Thank you for being here, Leslie, and for sharing your light tonight. It was very bright for all to see. And I hope you will go out and buy the book, of course, and read more about Leslie's journey in chapter 6. Great to have you here, my dear.
Thank you, my friend. Do we?
Oh, we have to do a
Do we take
picture.
a picture?
Oh,
Yes, I'm
don't let
sorry.
me
I
forget.
forgot what's.
Okay,
Thanks for
hold on.
collecting. I don't
I'm
know
gonna
where
get
this is.
this ready. Okay, ready? Here we go. Got it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, my
Good
dear.
night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night. Oh, wow. This is fun. So now we have joining us in our virtual room here, our studio. We're going to be chatting with another co-author, Louisa Tam. And Louisa is, oh my goodness, such a firecracker. She has so many gifts, this lady, and she is ready to share them with the world. Her story in Uncover Your Light is, is, I know that there's a lot that she has revealed in this chapter, and it's very personal, very raw. So I certainly will not steal her thunder by sharing any of it. That is up to her. But I know that also it was a really wonderful, transformative process of going through this journey of discovering yourself. And oh, I can see she's got some friends in the house. I can already see from the chat blowing up. Louisa Tam, welcome.
Thank you, Lisa. It's so nice to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you here, my dear. And I was just in my intro, talking a bit about your story, but really, this is yours to share. I just will, in introducing you, say that um, as it was with many of the amazing women I met on this journey, Louisa and I, met virtually in a completely different setting that had nothing to do with writing or this project. However, I don't believe that people cross your path without there being a reason for it. There just aren't, in my experience, any accidents. So when we did meet and I mentioned to you about this writing thing that I had going on, it was really cool how you immediately were drawn to it and enthusiastic about it. And you have been throughout the whole process. You've been such a cheerleader for others in this community as well. So I want to give you kudos for that. It's really lovely to be around. So I'm going to let you take it away and share with us.
Thank you so much, Lisa. First, I really want to take a moment to thank you for giving me this opportunity, and Kylie and GBR Publishing. None of this was possible for me without this opportunity and for you. And I just want to reminisce a little bit on how we met. It's one of my favorite stories, and it's the reason why I'm here today with you. Lisa and I, we met in a networking group at an event, and it was really interesting. It's serendipitous because I had Lisa's first book on my shelf that my life partner gifted to me, and I just put it away on my shelf. I hadn't read it yet. And then when I met you, I pulled it off the shelf and I started to read it. And I learned so much more about you that way. And okay, I remember when she's going to go get the book. There it is. That's the book. I remember when you and I were chatting and we were getting to know each other a little bit, and I shared a little bit about my history with you, and you thought it was such a great idea to invite me to join you in this venture for Uncover Your Light in Volume 1. And at first I thought, oh my God, no way. I have a story. I've always known I have a story, and I wasn't sure I really wanted to share it. And the universe is a very interesting thing because it pushes you to do things that are good for you and potentially good for others. And this book really came at the perfect time in my life because I was on a journey of self-discovery, of personal growth. And I did a lot of work over the last 10 years, but the part that I shared in my chapter was the one piece where I was not being true to myself in. And this book really allowed me to share that in a very vulnerable way and very scary. And I'm so proud and fortunate. I remember having a conversation in one of our little huddles in the early stages of the book, and I remember it was Karen, your cousin, who, when I shared, I was very worried about sharing this part of my life to the world, and she said, "That is your own judgment of your past." And it hit me like a lightning bolt. And I just started writing and I couldn't stop. And this has really brought my personal transformation to full circle, to be able to let go of all of that baggage and all of that emotional weight off of me. And, you know, for so many years, that part of me has really weighed me down. And, you know, we're told to be perfect. We think we have to be perfect to be accepted. And that was the one piece where I knew I was absolutely not perfect. And I was very ashamed of it as well. And it was not something I wanted people to know about. And in letting it go and sharing it and learning how to write about it has helped me. And I believe it'll help others. And now that I've removed it from my shoulders, I'm no longer in that story. I'm no longer that young 20-something-year-old girl. Now I look at that young girl and I can embrace her and give her a hug and bring her along and shine the light on her.
Louisa, thank you so much for those words. What you said resonated deeply, especially about embracing the younger Louisa and seeing her with kind eyes. Um, so much of what was written in our book was about compassion, compassion for others. But, you know, I think it really starts with compassion for self. And what you described, I had totally forgotten about that meeting, the Zoom call that we had when we were just getting our ideas and doing our brainstorming. And now that you've mentioned it, I totally remember how that broke open some walls for you, what Karen said. And yeah, that was so cool about being in a writing community. And you just encapsulated it beautifully, Louisa, is that you were at that precipice of self-discovery, but someone else saying, you know what, you might be judging yourself too harshly. And then you're able to really take a different perspective. And I remember your writing just like flew out of you. Like, yep. Exactly. And it's really beautiful to see that sort of transformative process in real time. I'm going to read a few of the comments. There's so many on the screen. I'm not going to get to all of them because you're having tons of love here, which is deserved. Louisa, love your vulnerability. Thanks for sharing, says Carol. Such grace and poise, says Carol Blackburn. We have two Carols in our group. And Adrian Wellman, profound. I absolutely, I'm not sure what point he was speaking of because it's down further in the chat, but so much of what you shared tonight is profound. And Helen Snell in volume 2 said how amazing that the co-authors helped each other. We really did. I mean, I know you can maybe speak briefly about your book wife. Because that's another story that I love. I love.
My book wife, she is a forever friend, someone that I got to meet in this journey, and we just hit it off really, really well from the start. And we've developed a friendship that has grown, it has flourished, and I call her my book wife, and she's truly like a sister to me. You know, I feel very, very connected to her. But, you know, it was actually through a lot of her, I guess, advice and through talking with me about my chapter, because she was my beta reader. And, you know, she got to read a lot of the roughness of the story. And I'll share a little bit. I'm not going to share too much, because I was looking through my chapter and I thought, what can I share that's not going to give too much away? And I mentioned to Lisa that I feel like everything will give everything away. So I do want to share a little tiny snippet, but you know, just to go back on that vulnerability and sharing and the presence that we want to have in front of people. You know, today, you know, I'm a mom, as you all know, and I'm also a financial professional. And that was probably where I had the most challenge in sharing my story, because I thought, well, I'm responsible for people's financial futures and their money. Who's going to trust me now? What about my colleagues? And what about future clients? Will I gain future clients? And I really believe now that this is what people will relate to, is, you know, they'll see where I came from to how I got to where I am today. And if I may read just a very small section, I don't want this to seem too dark, because my story is quite, what shall we say? It is very, very vulnerable. It's the only word I can use. It's vulnerable. It comes from a very, very broken place. And to be able to articulate what I experienced for a very small piece of my adult life, in my young adult life, which felt like a very, very long time, is just amazing that I can actually see it on these pages. So I'm going to share now. I thought about what my sons would say about me, and I realized there wasn't anything good to say. I cried. What saved me from my almost successful suicide attempt? It was my sons. It hit me that they deserved to have a mom that they could be proud of. That was the catalyst for my change, and I began putting my life back together once more. In 2011, after a 23-year habit, I smoked my last cigarette and started running. It changed my life. I became a healthier version of myself and surrounded myself with other like-minded runners who became my good friends. My partner today, whom I met through the same running group, is my biggest cheerleader. Life moves in the direction of the associations that you keep. So if you want to know the rest of the story, you will have to buy a copy.
100%. I love it. Love that you shared that. That's really, really transformative, and having that recognition of what you needed to live for, and also to exemplify for your sons. That is beautiful, Louisa. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your story. And oh, wow, we have more love. Yet Lou's story is what this book is about. She truly represents what it means to uncover your light. And Bruce is saying that. I know that he's got a lot of insight into your transformation. So thank you for being here, Bruce. And it's so great to have people of all walks of life, genders, etc., being behind this book. You know, it's not, we said this earlier in the afternoon session, it is not just for women. Yes, it was written entirely by women, but there are so many things to be gleaned for however you identify. So yes, thank you again, my dear, for being here. Ah, yes, and Ada said you are such a beautiful and strong soul. I have to get a picture with you, my dear, so get your copy of the book, and I will take it. Let's see if Olivia, yes, I was going to ask Olivia to do exactly what she did. It's like she reads my mind. Okay, here we go. Ready? Beautiful. Oh, thanks for being here, my dear.
Thank you
Have a
so much.
great rest of the evening. Bye, Louisa. Oh, yes. I love that quote that she just said. Yep. Life moves with the associations you keep. Word. Absolutely. So we are moving on to our next. Wow, we're almost at the top of the hour and it's just flying by. Our next guest is Lisa Ritchie Craig, and she is going to be. Oh, let me just remove this chat so I can read this. This is where the glasses have to come out. Trust the process, says Lisa. You don't need to have all the answers. You know enough. You are enough. We don't always have to understand the reasons for the pain and grief. Just maybe the experience is necessary. I love that picture of her too. And let's welcome to our studio to chat further about her experience, Lisa Craig. Hello there.
Hello. I hope my mic is working this time. Yes. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, it's so great to hear your voice, Lisa. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, we had some fun times last night. Not. Anyway, thank goodness for tech rehearsals because boy, technology can be a real pain sometimes. But you are here, and I'm so happy to welcome you, to see you. Not although we haven't met in person, it's amazing how you can feel such a rapport with someone that you haven't met in real
Yes.
life. And I mean, I remember that from the time you came into my sphere of being, you were an author with GBR. I think perhaps you might, besides myself, having written in Women Let's Rise, I think you may be the only other one who has done another project.
Really?
But this one was vastly different from the first one. I know that for sure.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you share whatever you would like from your chapter, and boy, Conversations with the Moon, your chapter really has some poetic prose. I don't want to give away too much though. So I just remember when I read the first draft, Lisa, and I was like, where are the tissues? Where I need help here. It was very cathartic reading your words, because they really hit home. So thank you for that. I hope I've said that before, but if I haven't, I want you to know that yeah,
Thank you.
had
That
it
means
had a profound effect. So let's hear from Lisa about her journey.
okay. Well, I am going to take a note from Shruti and let you know that my pronouns are she, her, and I live on the ancestral land of the Chickahominy Indians currently. Um, and first, I would just like to express gratitude to you, Lisa, to Kylie, GBR, and all of our other co-authors. It has just been an amazing journey. And you actually took the words out of my mouth a minute ago, because this is what I wanted to say. Was one of the things that I wanted to say was it's women uplifting women, right? I mean, this is what we did, but it's not just for women, and that we are all both masculine and feminine energy. So this book, to me, represents, and for my husband loves it, by the way. So guys out there, if you would like to read it, please, there's something in here for everyone. We all need that feminine energy, right? We all need, it's such a healing energy. And so in my chapter, Conversations with the Moon, I tried to harness that feminine energy, of the moon. I feel like the moon is definitely feminine. She is nurturing and guiding. She is wisdom through the darkness. Um, so I could have chosen so many things to write about, honestly. But I chose the most vulnerable, painful experience that was holding me hostage at the time that I was writing. And I wrote about ambiguous grief. Um, and interesting, like Leslie talks about, grief comes in so many shapes and sizes and in ways that we just don't even expect it. It's not always death, it's something. Ambiguous grief is It's that kind of grief that nobody wants to talk about. Often people don't even want to hear about it. You don't get closure from it. You're not really allowed to grieve. You're just supposed to be okay, right? You're just supposed to be okay. Pretty soon you slip into a dark hole, and you have a hard time finding your way out. I could barely make it through the day at some points. And most importantly, I didn't feel like I could be a good wife or a good mother when I was so broken. So I will just read a small part of my chapter. I'm actually going to change a little bit about what I was going to talk about today, because so much of what I wanted to share with you has already been expressed. And so I'm kind of just going to wing it a little bit. So bear with me, but I'll just read this small little piece. I expressed my doubt to the moon. Could I honor myself enough to feel whole and connected? Could I still be the mother my children need me to be if I am not whole? The moon is always whole, even if it is not full, Moon answered. Sometimes we hide the most vulnerable parts of ourselves because we are not ready to shine in our full capacity. But that does not mean we are not whole. It just means we are not full. It is okay not to be full all of the time. You can still rise and shine in whatever capacity you are capable of sharing. You don't have to wait to be full in order to shine. You deserve to be in love with your life right now. I questioned the moon's authenticity. What about your light? It is not your own, yet I marvel at your beauty and how you confidently light up the darkness. Moon replied, it is true that my light doesn't come from me. It's a reflection. It comes from source. The light shines on me and I share that light with you. That is how we are connected. So, speaking of the moon, and this is where I'm going to change what I was going to talk about. Speaking of the moon, we are coming out of a full moon. Who was able to see this beautiful hunter's moon this last couple of nights,
Oh,
right?
I missed it. Oh, I didn't even realize. Anyway, tell us.
If you were in Virginia, which is where I'm at, it was clear and bright and beautiful. And so something that keeps coming up also is serendipity. And we talk about this word serendipity, and I would like to take it a little bit further, serendipitous coincidences. And we just keep coming up with these coincidences, right? So recently, I heard somebody describe it as coincidences is co-inside a dance. We are connected inside of a dance together. There's no such thing as coincidences. We just need to marvel at the gift the universe is giving us. So a hunter's
100%.
moon. So the hunter's moon, I talk about in my chapter a poem called On Children by Khalil Gibran. One of my favorites, one that I often go back to, is a great reminder of we are the bow and our children are our arrows. And we are not the archer, yet sometimes we lose sight of this and we try to step into the role of the archer. And we're meant to be flexible and stable, and we're meant to let go. We're meant to surrender and trust the process. And this, we don't have control of the outcome, right?
Yes.
And we don't have to know all the reasons why. We don't have to know everything. We just need to trust the process and surrender anyway. So that was one of the connections or the coincidences with the hunter's moon, is what I was thinking that was guiding me to talk to you guys about something a little bit different today. Today is my daughter's 15th birthday. And her name, another coincidence, is Estrella, which is star in Spanish. We went with the Greek spelling, which is Estrella. It's a Greek spelling, so it's a constellation of justice. So anyway, it's just I thought it was just really cool with when we're talking about light and uncovering our light, and that she is our starlight and she's beautiful. And today is her birthday. And she doesn't like to say an age. So if you ask her how old she is, she says age is just a number, right? Which is fitting because developmentally she is about 10. And why is age a number? It's one of those things that keeps coming up in our stories as well, right? The shoulds. Why do we have to be a number or an age or why can't we just be? So she is just a number, but the reason I tell you her age is because she has a chromosome disorder. She's missing part of her 18th chromosome, and she has a duplicate of her 18th chromosome. So missing part of her 18th short arm and a duplicate of her long arm. And then she has an isochromosome. So she's literally 1 in a million, right? She is 1 in a million. In addition, she has dyspraxia, ADHD, low muscle tone, autoimmune disorders, which we've talked about in this book as well, and one that is called alopecia. So she just lost all of her hair about 2 years ago. She was diagnosed at 3, and we were told that she was not supposed to live past 13, and she's 15. And most children with this complicated arrangement of chromosomes, they don't make it past birth. Yet here she is, full of life and light and wisdom, and reflecting that gift on each of us that know her and many of us that don't know her. So the other night, and I know that I'm running out of time here, so I will make this quick, but I just want to share something that we can pass on that she's taught us, because our children are our greatest teachers. And when we were at this Hunter's Moon party, all the kids are playing, we're surrounded by a fire, and she decides to teach all of the adults that she does not know how to harness the moon's light in a breath that she calls an energy ball. And because I'm running out of time, I'm not going to teach that to you. I was going to, but I won't. I will just describe it very quickly. But her energy ball is breathing in and out the energy, and that energy can change. So if you're feeling scared or hurt or whatever energy that you don't like, right? And you're breathing, we can change that energy. So you're breathing and you work this breath, and then you can either give it to the fire, you can give it to the moon, you can breathe it so big that you can climb inside of it and just be surrounded by your white light. And she taught the group of adults that she does not know how to do this breath work. And it was beautiful. And so
Wow.
I would love for, if, even though we can't teach you today, you could teach someone else. You can practice that breath. You can teach someone else. And that is how we coexist in the dance together.
Oh, Louise, Lisa, there was so much in what you shared. And Estrella, I just want to hug her. Like, please give her happy birthday wishes, and more so just what she represents. She's a light unto this world.
Yes.
I completely understand why you named her with that name. It's so meaningful, and what she did that night, I think, is representative of who she is and who she comes from and what she has seen in her parents and in her mom. Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. I have written down all these notes as you were speaking, because the bow and arrow concept, boy, that is a big one for me. Realizing that I'm not the archer, and that really we are meant to let go of our kids. We're not meant to, keep them tied to us or smother them in. They need to spread their wings and fly. And oh wow, that just the whole energy of what you shared. I'm so grateful. And for what you contributed to our book, Lisa, it was just a beautiful gift. So thank you for being you.
Thank you. I'm so honored. And I love the connections that we have, all of us. Like you keep saying serendipity. I just keep thinking about that. And every time something comes up and I go, oh, yes, I can relate to that. And I so hope that our audience feels the same when they pick up this book.
Yes.
Don't read it from front to back. Like you can just flip to a chapter and be like, that's what I needed to hear today. Right?
That's it.
Like,
I totally agree. It's not meant to be in succession. Honestly, it is just a take what you need in the moment and then go back and get and fill up with some more wisdom. That's how I see it. And I don't want to forget to do a screenshot of us. So yes, you got your book. Awesome. All right, here we go. Oops, wait. I don't know why that window came up one more time. All right, here we go. Thank you, my dear. Thank you for being here. Good night, Lisa. All the best. Oh, that was so lovely. Wow, we're going to continue on our merry way in this live event. I just want to, before we bring on Ada Lau, our next guest, I just want to remind everyone that we are climbing the charts as we speak. I haven't had a chance to check because, I'm kind of busy here. But I know that before we went live, we were quite high in the categories of happiness and motivational books. And wouldn't it be just a complete blow it out of the water thrill ride for our hardworking, dedicated, inspiring authors to end this night being best-selling authors. And yeah, I think that would just be really, really worthwhile. Oh, yes. Thank you, Michael. And for supporting Lisa. Lisa's husband has just written, thank you for opening us into your work and the women of Uncover Your Light. It means so much to have support of our families during these types of marathons, because this was not a sprint. I will let you know. Oh, thanks, Louisa. We're 20. Okay, what? We're 24 in best-selling list on Amazon. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's keep fanning those flames, my friends. And if you haven't gotten a copy, hop onto Amazon, either the Canadian or the US link, and grab a copy, and you will be thrilled with what you find in these pages. Yes, for sure. Oh, let's hit number one. This is so exciting. All right, next up, after my little infomercial, next up we have Ada Lau. So grateful for this lovely woman who is going to grace us in a moment. Here's her quote. I love this one. Is the glass half full or half empty? What if it can be seen as completely full? The seemingly empty space comprises endless possibilities and potential for our future. When we adjust our perspective, we can see the world in a new light. Ah, love that. And welcome to the studio, Ada Lau. Hello, Ada.
Hi, thanks for having
Well,
me.
well, welcome. Good evening. It's so great to have you here and to be able to share this space with you tonight. It's today has been really like just ooh, it's I can't even say it's a roller coaster. It's just been like this straight trajectory going up,
Oh yeah,
up.
so much excitement. It just continues.
Totally. Oh, it's amazing. So please do share with us. The great thing too about friends, and this has happened in a few instances in this project, are friends bringing on other friends and letting them know why they feel that their story matters. Ada and I didn't know each other at all, but her good friend Janet decided that she knew that there was something to be shared here. And so when Janet joined the project, she brought some friends with her. And I love that. I think that is just so special to do this in community, and also how extra special to do it with people that you already know and love. So that support along the way must be really special for you as well, Ada. So please go ahead and share with us whatever you would like from your chapter. I loved reading your chapter more than once, actually, because of course I got the privilege of doing that a few times. But Take Flight is it really is a metaphor for so much. And I don't want to give all of that away, but I think there's a lot of depth to what you shared. So please go ahead.
Just want to say thank you to Lisa and all the co-author, Janet, of course, who connected us. No relation, even though our last names are both Lau and GBR, for just making this possible. It's been, honestly, I thought as a little kid, and even when I was like 5 or 6, that, oh, it would be great to be a writer one day. And now I can tell my kids. And yeah, so it's been a amazing journey, and I think this journey has been really a journey of growth, and I can probably say that for most of the, if not all, the writers here, that when you have to write about yourself and you have to bring yourself to a vulnerable place, and you have to become vulnerable, and share a part of yourself and reveal yourself to people. And some of that, my family has read my story, and they were surprised because there's some very personal thoughts and feelings that I talked about in my book. And my story is really a story of like my first 30 years of life, my healing journey that I've gone through. I start off saying that a lot of times our past experience, our upbringing, and just what we go through in life, we end up kind of internalizing a lot of things that people say, a lot of things that we go through, and we internalize a lot of lies and false image. And so I talk first about how the labels and expectation that we put on ourselves, that other put on us, sadly, sometimes it covers up who we are really on the inside. And for me, it's a journey of self-discovery, finding my worth, peeling off these layers to really find out who I was deep inside, not who other people say I am, but really discovering for myself as an adult, like, who am I in the core, and to discover my gifts and my strengths, and to embrace even the weaknesses. And I think that's something that for me, I really had to learn, and I had to change my mindset, because it's so easy to cover up our weaknesses, our failures, and kind of hide it from the rest of the world and pretend it's not there. But it was important for me to learn that it's okay. I don't have to be perfect, and really, this is who I am, and the good and the bad. So this is the journey that I've learned, and I'll read us just a paragraph, just for you to know me a little bit, hopefully, from that. It's under the heading Emerging Patterns. There are often patterns outside our awareness that influence our thoughts and shape our belief. I'm the youngest of 3, and oddly enough, I was always in multiple friend trios from kindergarten all the way to my university days. My best friends came in pairs, and I appreciate that I did not have 1, but 2 best friends. However, these best friends always seemed more close-knit with each other and excluded me from certain activities. The feeling of being left out became all too familiar. This repeated pattern impressed upon me the notion that I am less than and an unworthy friend. Unbeknownst to me, this narrative was sewn into my mind at the tender age of 11, when my dad passed away unexpectedly from cancer, only 1 year after we arrived in Canada. My family and I did not know how to process the overwhelming grief, but managed to survive through a whirlwind of emotions. We coped as best as we could without the strong pillar of our family there to lean on. Logically, I understood my dad succumbed to cancer and was taken from us. I knew without a doubt that he loved us to the moon and back and would have done anything in his power to conquer the disease and see us grow up. Despite the circumstance, the fact that he left and abandoned us prematurely, even though it was out of his control, little did I know that a vicious lie was beginning to brew in my mind at this vulnerable time. The lie that says I was not good enough for my dad to stick around and remain by my side. The trauma of losing my dad reinforced the thought that I am rejected and I'm not worthy of love. I think it's emotional. I think every time you go through a chapter of your life. And I think for me, going through a loss in the family as a little kid, I knew, and it's not true that I was rejected. I knew logically, right?
Logically, but that's different from
exactly. I think emotionally, just something just started that lie, and later experiences in life kind of built on that lie, even though we know it's not true. So I share a story, my story, because for me it was just the decision to face these lies, to go to find that healing. Is finding the community, really leaning on my faith, and having people remind you who you are. I think is so important. And I think even today, just the support system we have, like we don't need to do it alone. And I think that's a message I want to share, that we can lean on others when we are weak and we need that helping hand. And we can learn to embrace ourselves and be kind to ourselves. And
I love that. I love that theme, Ada. It keeps coming up time and time again, and you know that's no mistake about that. So many of the co-authors in tonight in this session in particular, but I'd say really it's a theme that is woven throughout our book, have talked about that idea of being kind to yourself first. And I love what your hubby, I believe, has written here, Rod. Never be afraid to show who you are and reflect his light. Oh,
he wants to make me
so
cry
lovely.
or something.
Oh, he's yeah, he has a game plan. Let's see if I can make Ada cry. Oh, it's just so beautiful to have that. He's written a few things here, but they're too far down on the chat for me to read out loud. But I can see that both himself and your girls are such a support system for you. And another one of our co-authors from volume 2, Siobhan, is saying, "You are so worthy of love, Ada. Never doubt that." Shruti, love you, Ada, my friend. You shine so brightly. Ah, cheers to that. Yes, yes, yes. There we go. This is what I'm drinking tonight too.
Yeah, a gift from the hubby.
Yeah. And a toast to you as well for being vulnerable and opening up to a new experience. And by doing so, you've allowed us into your world and to see that that transformation, you know, that how you've embraced that young Ada and given her wings to fly. It's such a lovely story. And please purchase a copy for yourself and check out Ada's chapter, Take Flight. It will not disappoint in any way. So so grateful that you were here with us tonight. And I thank you for being here. Please do follow along with our co-authors. I haven't mentioned this since the top of the hour. All of their links are on the screen for you to follow them on various channels. So Ada's Facebook handle is there, and it's really, really great to see where things go after tonight, after our launch, to
Mhm.
see how things are shaping up in our
And I do
lives.
want to add one
Louisa,
thing. I know
yeah,
time is
please.
running out for me. In a giveaway, I actually prepare or created a
Yes.
growth mindset poster. It's tailored towards kids because that's something that I'm learning with my kids at home. I talked about growth mindset in my chapter, and I'm
Mm,
like, for me, I really wish that I learned it as a child, because I kind of shy away from challenges, and I was afraid of making mistakes and failing.
mhm.
And the growth mindset is really teaching us that, you know, mistakes are okay, that challenges are actually going to help our brain grow and get stronger. And that's something that is not just a message, something for kids, but for adults to remember that our brain can constantly grow, and new synapses can, you know, can be
Form, yeah.
created. So never
Yes.
stop learning and never stop growing, and keep that hope and keep going.
Oh, 100%. And as a teacher, Ada, for my whole career, I applaud that. Thank you for including that in our gift with purchase package, which FYI, you can get when you purchase a copy today. And that's part of our gift to the community for supporting our launch on Amazon. So thank you for that, Ada. And it's wonderful seeing you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night. Bye. Oh, beautiful. So next up, oh, screenshot. Oh, you know what? Oh, she's
I'm
here.
still
Good.
here.
Let's do that. I'm so glad that Olivia's in
Okay,
the
stand up.
background because she keeps me honest. Okay, here we go. Got it. Thank you. Thanks, Ada, and
Thank
thank you,
you.
Olivia.
Stay tuned. There's more awesome authors to
Yes,
come.
more to come. More to come. Exactly.
Have a good night, everyone.
Oh, good
Thank you.
night. And next up, we are going to continue with another co-author joining us. Joining us from the US, we have a few co-authors. I don't think I've pointed out who they are. I should do that. Karen Stanley Richter is going to be joining us next. And here's where these babies come in handy. Here's her quote. We all have gifts. It's just a question of whether we access them and feel confident enough to share them. Allow nature to show you how easy and enjoyable the path to finding your creative, confident self can be. Oh, beautiful. And welcome to the studio, Karen Richter. Oh, there she is. Oh, I love that color on
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Gorgeous. Oh, wonderful. Welcome, Karen. And as I mentioned just off the top, because it dawned on me now that you are one of our US co-authors, please do share with the audience where you're at, where you're from, and I will share also how we met, which is so awesome. So go ahead.
So I'm on the East Coast in Pennsylvania, about an hour and a half north of Philadelphia. So just right along the Delaware River, where there's a lot of historical buildings and rural farmland. It's a beautiful part of the country.
Oh, lovely, lovely. And as I had mentioned in our afternoon session, um, how I had met Carol Blackburn through an amazing women's organization called Woman Speak. Same goes for Karen and I. Uh, I had taken this training to, help women to learn really powerful, embodied speaking practices that were much different than what, the usual ones that you encounter. And Women Speak is a great organization for just getting you to step out of your comfort zone. And Karen and I met in one of those sessions, and it's interesting how at some point we got back into talking after we had initially met, and I think you might have seen a post that I'd done about book project. And anyway, we connected again about this, and lo and behold, you decided that this was the right time for you to write in a project like this. And I'm so grateful that you did.
And I'm so grateful that I took you up on the offer. And it's funny because I was one of the last authors to get into volume 1. And so I remember you telling me, I don't want to pressure you to make a decision, but there are only a few slots left. And so I jumped on board, and then lo and behold, you had so many women interested that there's a whole nother volume.
That's And that's where volume 2 came to pass. I know it's true. I'm so glad that you did jump on the bandwagon. It's been wonderful to have your presence and your perspective. So I am going to let you take it away from here and share with us some parts of your wonderful chapter and your insights.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for this platform. It's so exciting to be a part of this evening or this whole day, and to see the books sales going up the charts. It's just amazing to be a part of this. So exciting. And I want to let you in on a little secret. What if I told you that there was support available that would help you feel strong and empowered and confident and connected to yourself, connected to the brilliance that lives within inside you, as well as being connected to something so much bigger than yourself? Would you be interested? What if I told you this support was available 24/7 for free and was super, super fun? Would you want to hear more? Well, I have discovered a simple shift in perspective it's simple, but it's been transformational. And as I've shared with other women, I've found that even though their current situation or their challenges, their struggles, their darkness may differ from mine, they can still relate to the story I'm about to tell and have reaped benefits from some of the simple practices that I talk about in my chapter. So I'd like to share a bit of my journey with you, a little bit of what I talk about in my chapter, and hope that it resonates with you as well. And it starts with, let me give you a little bit of information about myself, a little bit of background. I have always loved to be out in nature. I have been hiking and camping and kayaking, backpacking, anything to get me outdoors. And I especially loved swimming. And then when I had the opportunity to go snorkeling and become a part of the snorkeling world, I just loved it. It had swimming in it, which I loved, but then it was just so beautiful and so pretty. And I just loved spending time snorkeling. I was lucky enough to be on the coral reefs where it was just so brilliant colors. Years later, I had the opportunity to become certified as a scuba diver. And I was excited to learn something new, another fun nature activity. But I also felt, there's no way it can be better than snorkeling, because snorkeling was already just the cat's meow. It was perfect. And then I was welcomed into the undersea world. As I went down deeper and deeper, I became a part of the environment. I was welcomed into this warm turquoise water. And I remember the sun coming through the water sort of in diamond shapes, just sparkling. And I was no longer on the surface looking down, but I was a part of it. I was right there in the midst of it. The coral, so brilliantly colored, was all around me. The fish were swimming undisturbed by my presence. I remember this school of brilliantly gold and blue fish that were swimming as a school. And when they got up to me, they just sort of split and swam all around me and then just continued on their way. They didn't mind me being there at all. For a moment, when they were all around me, I was one of the fish in that school. It was almost like where I ended and the water started was blurred. I was just a part of it. It was quiet. I could hear my breath. I could hear my heart pounding. It was just an amazing experience. And I thought that's all it was, an amazing experience. Years later, I recognized that experience, the transformation from snorkeling on the surface or being immersed in the midst of the ocean, that related to my life exactly. That I was living my life like I was snorkeling. I was happy. I had a lot to be grateful for. I had many blessings, but I felt disconnected. I felt like I was on the surface of the water watching what was going on below me. I wasn't really present in my life. And I wanted to have that feeling of being immersed in the water, being a part of this surroundings that were so much bigger than myself. And I thought I was so moved by that experience, and it left me feeling empowered and strong. I don't know why. It was just, I just felt great. And I wondered, how can I get more of that into my life? How can I have more of these experiences without needing to go to the tropics and going scuba diving, but experiences that could build me up and make me feel that wonderful, that connected, that full of life? So I've been doing research and I've been experimenting, trying out new things. And what I have found to be true is that many people, even those who consider themselves to be nature lovers, feel that they're separate from nature and that nature is something for us to admire and enjoy, and it's recreational. And that view can create some discomfort because it might feel like spending time in nature is frivolous or selfish, taking us away from being productive and getting things accomplished. And so we don't allow ourselves time to go out into nature. Or if we do go out into nature, it's always with an objective. I'm going to finish that 5K race, or I'm going to climb to the top of that mountain. There has to be an accomplishment. Very rarely do we just spend time in nature and feel what it's doing for us. And so, separate from believing that nature is separate from us, and if we spend time in it, it's frivolous and selfish, what I have found to be true is that we are not separate from nature. We are a part of nature. And that by connecting to nature, we gain such amazing benefits. We can recharge and rebalance our energy. It fills us with that confidence that I've talked about. And there's so many studies out there that show the benefits of being out in nature. It lowers our blood pressure. It lowers our cortisol levels, that stress hormone. It increases endorphins and dopamine, which make us feel good. There's so many studies showing that there are tangible health benefits from being out in nature. And so Mother Nature has become my classroom, where I am learning to live my life to the fullest and learning to reconnect to myself and to everything that's around me. Mother Nature's not only my classroom, though, she's my teacher, because I look to her and I say, wow, who else shows that level of strength, that level of tenacity, that level of flexibility? So when we see that tree that has pushed its way up through a crack in the rock, or maybe it even made that crack in the rock, or we see a tree has fallen across a stream and the stream just reroutes and goes another way. Nature is so non-judgmental, no comparisons going on. Am I as pretty as that red flower? I'm only a pink flower. So there's so much that we can learn from nature herself. I've captured some easy to do simple practices and included them in my chapter, which is chapter 10, Nature's Path to Confidence. And I am sure that when you practice these, you'll gain similar benefits to myself. I just am able to, in an instant, calm my system down and find that confidence. A perfect example is just before this session. So I can't lie, I was a little nervous. I haven't done live streaming before. And I went outside and I just sat next to the creek with the willow trees blowing in the wind and the crickets cheering me on and telling me I was going to do great. And it really, really helped in just an instant. I calmed down and I felt more confident. So there are huge benefits to me, but I'm also thrilled to think about the added benefit. When we look at our culture and our society, we've become so removed from nature, from whence we come. We've lost that connection. And the more we can get out and start to appreciate nature, appreciate Mother Nature, the more we'll respect her and help her heal. She's there 24/7 for us to help us gain these health benefits. And by spending time, we'll be healing her as well. So as I wrote this chapter, I started like many of the other authors have talked about, not feeling like I had a story to share. And as I was writing this, I realized, I wish I had shared this to my younger self. I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self this and help her avoid some of the suffering, help her know that there's this supportive place that she can go to. And I can't go back in time. But that's when I realized by writing this chapter, I'm just hoping that there are women out there or men that read this and absorb it and do some of the practices and gain some of these benefits as well. And then I will just be thrilled to have been able to share in them being able to find confidence. So thank you so much for this opportunity, Lisa.
My pleasure. Oh, that was, one of the comments, and there've been many, but as they scroll down, I missed them. One that I will say though that echoes how I feel. Leslie James said that you've painted such a vibrant picture through your portrayal tonight, and more, and even more so for those that read your chapter will find that your writing is so vibrant, and you're such a wonderful communicator. Thank you very much, Karen, for being part of this writing journey and for sharing a perspective that, to be honest, I hardly ever take note of, and I'm probably one of those suburbanites that doesn't nearly value and use the gifts that Mother Nature gives us to the extent that I could and should. And it's just such a beautiful reminder for so many of us to really embrace it and not feel that we're going into nature, but that we are a part of her bounty. So beautiful, beautiful reminders. Thanks again for being here. Oh, we got to do a picture. I remembered this time, Olivia. Yes, that's great. Awesome. Here we go. Good. Got a second one just in case. Thanks again, Karen.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Oh, absolutely. It was a pleasure having you. Take care. All right. Wow. We have two more co-authors joining us tonight, and we're going to bring on next Sandra DiDomenico, who is going to share with us. Oh, wow, so beautiful. And we have Michael Craig, one of our co-authors. Hubbies is saying that this awesome book is 216 pages of personal stories of hope and resilience about being the best version of yourself. Get your copy and let's go to number one. Absolutely. I'm with you, Michael. And next we have my beautiful friend, Sandra Diaco. Her quote, uncover your truth, your soul, so that you can peel away the layers to become the person you are meant to be. Ah, beautiful words. And let us welcome Sandra to the studio, and we will be chatting next with her. There she is. Hello, hello.
How are
How's
you?
it going? I feel like I've seen you multiple times today that's because we did a live before this one.
Yes, today has been a great day. It's been busy and so many powerful moments. Yes.
Oh, yes, so true, eh? So many powerful stories and images and words shared. And thank you for being here tonight, my friend. We go quite a ways back as well. I remember, just to give some context to our viewers, that you were one of the first people that I mentioned about this book, even before I knew that there was going to be a book.
I know we were walking our dogs and
That's
you shared
right.
with
We
me.
were walking Bandit and Chloe on a
Yeah,
fall day. I remember
yeah,
that, and it's like, I think that there might be a book in me coming out. So if you're thinking of being a co-author, just hold on and let me
yeah.
figure this out first.
It was divine timing because I was looking for that opportunity. So it was perfect.
There you go.
So
I
grateful.
know.
Thank
I
you.
love when that. Oh, my pleasure, my dear. I love when that happens.
Yes.
And yes, I'm going to let you take the floor and
Sure.
share with us whatever parts of your journey you would like to dive into. It's your chapter is entitled A Soul Makeover Journey, and I love that title because my goodness, we do makeovers in so many other aspects of our lives, our clothing, our hair, our outer beauty. When we look inside, that is where the real beauty resides. So, yeah, I'm going to let you share.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks for co-hosting this whole correlation. It has been quite the journey. And like many of you said tonight, I thought I didn't have a story to share either. I was one who, how did I become confident in my late 40s is exactly what happened. And I completely reinvented myself. And when we talk about soul makeover, I deeply dove right into my soul and reinvented, had a complete makeover from the inside out, is what I did. And not even knowing that, I had to connect the dots of things that happened in my past that were coming in the forefront in my future and the now, and that were holding me back as far as being confident as a woman in today's society. And I decided that I was going to change that. And I'm thrilled to be sharing with you in my chapter how I connected those dots, the whole aha moments, several of them that came to fruition. And I'm so proud of the person that I have become. And the key here, the message that I want to share, one little thing right now is you can alter that. You can reinvent yourself and you can become who you are meant to be. So I will share a little snippet here in the chapter. I'm chapter lucky 13. I'm so excited. It's a lucky number in my eyes. So soul makeover. It was a time to reset my belief systems, to find my worthiness and self-acceptance once and for all. I learned to surrender to everything. Surrender became my newfound word. It was so freeing. My battles with weight, my battles with worthiness, my battles with perfection, my battles with loneliness, I figured I deserved a fulfilled, successful life too. I now live consciously every moment of every day. The hard lessons had to do with the toxic relationships, the negative people I was keeping in my life. I had to learn that I was one who kept them there because I was too caring and giving. That was my nature. I ended up in these situations because I had fears of leaning solely on myself. I didn't feel strong enough to do so. This came from my past beliefs about standing on my own, as my brother was not always well enough to be present in my life. Getting a little emotional. I came to these realizations through timeline therapy, for which I am forever grateful. I had learned to set boundaries, which was a new word I had to embrace. Now I'm just a badass woman, and I have developed a thicker skin, and people pleasing is no part of my life any longer. I uncovered the light. I decided that enough was enough and that I would stand tall and reinvent myself. Can one reinvent themselves? Absolutely. I'm living proof of it. And I decided I would follow the passions I was destined to follow. I would put myself out there. And it felt scary to see the kinds of results that fueled my confidence more and more. And how did I do that? Well, you'll just have to read some more to find out. um, I'm getting a little bit emotional because when you read out loud, it just becomes so surreal. And, this is, a great lesson that I had learned from the experiences of my past. And I have become the badass woman. Thank you, Lisa. Um, I want to share that, when you learn to surrender, your confidence will just come to you. I had to decide that I was worthy, I was important, and that I had to remove those old belief systems, those old patterns in my subconscious mind. And that self acceptance, it came. So I surrendered. I surrendered to everything. I let the pressure go. And I think a lot of us women, because we're self nurturers, we're nurturing everybody else around us, that we often forget who we are and who we are meant to be. So we have to get a little selfish, ladies, is what we need to do. I think we see these patterns when our mothers raise us, and this is what we've seen throughout our whole lives, that we sacrifice for our children and our partners and our fur babies and everything else, right? So the decision was to let go and to not hold back anymore. And once I did that, it was so freeing, and the confidence just flew into me. I was relaxed. I was able to become who I wanted to be and not stand in the shadow of others any longer. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, Sandra, that's, I resonate with so much of what you shared, but I have to say, I feel like what you've uncovered, it was there all along, that confident you. And I'm really grateful that you felt safe enough to be vulnerable in both what you shared in your reading and just, who you are. You're just such an embracing, loving person. And I feel like that confident Sandra, she was there all along. And like you said, the surrender is
Yeah,
what broke those floodgates and
definitely.
allowed her to be. Such a beautiful story. And yes, we have so much love in the chat for you. Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you.
Time
Thank
for
you, everybody.
self-love and yes, and to put ourselves first. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, Rachel, one of our co-authors from volume 2,
Yes.
is chiming
Rachel,
in. You're such an inspiration to
yes,
so
she's
many
a
people.
wonderful gal.
She is, she is. Oh, we have so many wonderful listeners, viewers, I should say, who are supporting us on this live stream. My goodness, I can't believe we've almost come to the
Right?
end of our evening.
I'm
I don't want
sure.
it to end.
Oh, it's been beautiful. I've been
But
enjoying all of it. Yes, absolutely.
oh,
So fun.
so glad. Oh, well, you know what? We do have one more co-author coming on, but I want to get a picture with you, my
For
friend.
sure.
So you have your book handy.
Oh,
Let's
yes.
do this.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Hold on. Let's see. Yes. Ready? Got it.
Awesome. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Lisa.
Sandra.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for
Go
your
shine the light,
light.
everybody.
And please
Go shine the light.
follow Sandra. By the way, her info is there at
Yes.
sandradido.ca. Please
Yes.
follow her and all of our co-authors as we continue our journey. It's really been an amazing night. So
It
all the
has.
best, my
Thank you so
dear.
much. Love to everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Oh, wow. So can't believe we're coming near the end. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. I've heard that somewhere before, and it's true. So we have one more lovely co-author joining us tonight, Janet Lau. She has the I guess the moniker of being the first co-author to join this amazing journey. Shruti was the last one. Well, Janet signed up right at the start, and so grateful. Here's her quote. There may be times you feel small, limited, and unworthy. Your superpower is the ability to overcome such debilitating feelings while becoming more resilient and resourceful through your struggles. Know that you are a worthy and beautiful warrior. Know and trust that you do matter. And that is something that Janet stands for very much, not only in her chapter in Uncover Your Light, but also being a published author of a children's book, which we'll talk about in a moment. Welcome, Janet. Welcome.
Hi. It is so
So
wonderful to
great
be
to
here.
have you here. Oh, this is like I said in your intro, you have the distinction of being the first co-author to say a resounding yes. And believe me, I don't take that lightly because, it's one thing to think you've got a great idea, but it's another to actually have people agree to
Yeah.
it in real time, in real life. And you were the first to do that, so thank you for that. And Janet, before I turn the floor over to you, I just want to mention to our audience that you already are a best-selling author in your own right, because you have a beautiful children's book, The Little Gray Pig, that came out earlier this year. So this 2022 was like your year to just go for broke as far as writing and publishing. So I hope you will share with everyone some more about that book and about Uncover Your Light, and just all the insights that you have to share with us. You already have love coming in the chat from various people, so yes, and well deserved to Louisa, my book wife. Yes, of course. Take it away, Janet.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, honestly, for inviting me to this. I feel like the theme of writing has been 30 seconds of bravery. That moment that, defines if, should you do something and what does it mean for you? And the doors, oh my goodness, the doors it opens up for you. Before I continue with that, like so many of my beautiful co-authors, I am going to read a short little blurb from my chapter, which is chapter 8. Ooh, can't really see that. Okay. So, I am a work in progress, and the bad thoughts didn't just magically disappear. It would be a lie to think so. Knowing that life is never stagnant and continues on indiscriminately, I focus on the footprints I leave behind in this life. Reflecting on the past few years, I have grown as an individual, a woman, and a mother. One thing's for sure, my reflexes are a lot faster now too. For example, catching a falling cup, a thrown dirty diaper, and of course, my daughter saying, "Catch me, mommy," as she leaps from the top of the stairs thinking it's so funny. But in all seriousness, where my internal light was once almost snuffed out, it now shines much brighter. Because I know I am capable, worthy, and a fighter. I've learned to create, share, and listen with an open mind. I pride myself on my ability to not only work hard, but to work smart while multitasking and to simultaneously find time to have fun and enjoy life. And I think that is the message that we all want to share, with the people out there, is that it's so easy to be your own naysayer and to focus on these perceived limitations. But what if you had that 30 seconds of bravery, that moment where you're like, okay, I'm at the crossroad. Do I do it or not? And you take that leap of faith because you know that you are worth it. You know that you deserve it, right? And as Lisa mentioned, I felt like it was out of the blue that Lisa reached out to me to do this book, but of course it wasn't. But these stories, we all have our past, and whatever our past is, focus on the good instead. Focus on the good that we are, that we can offer, that we can still do, right? All these opportunities that we didn't even think about. My inspiration obviously stems from my daughter. I adore her, and she is the reason I wanted to be a better person. But that thought transformed into, wait a second, but I want to do better because I only have one life. We all just have one life. We want to be the best version of ourselves for us, right? It's when we feel worthy, we feel, valid, when we feel grounded, that's when we can shine onto others and pour into others. So exactly, yes, Julie, mic drop, 30 seconds of bravery. It opens so many doors. You mentioned, Lisa, about my kids' book. I grew up not feeling confidence for many reasons. And I figured, how do I remind my daughter to believe in herself and to have that confidence? But then that quickly escalated to, wait, I want to share the story with everyone. So I was literally on the GO train, pacing back and forth frantically. Should I do this? Should I not? And again, that 30 seconds of bravery made a world of difference, because now I have this beautiful message out there to share with everyone. And when I was very, very proud of myself, we don't acknowledge this enough. We should feel proud of ourselves. I was thinking, I wish that there was the backstory, that people understood. Where did this inspiration for this kids' book come from? And this beautiful woman named Lisa Pinnock approached me. And here is the backstory. And it all ties, when you broaden your mind, open up your heart to opportunities, things will just happen. I mean, for the people out there who it has happened to, you get it. But for the people who aren't there yet, I promise you, hold your breath for 30 seconds, think of something you've always wanted to do it, and then see where one thing leads to another. And it is a beautiful, beautiful process. So I implore everyone, try it, do it, you won't regret it. And just as one thing, to give thanks to just all the opportunities this year has given me, given all of us. Right now, I know everyone is on Amazon grabbing their copies, and that is why we are skyrocketing to number 24, I believe, now in the category happiness. But also, if you get The Little Gray Pig, it's going to be a promotional pricing right now. I believe Olivia has, yes, there's the link. Olivia has more information later on. But yes, everything ties in. But out of all of these opportunities, I have 21 amazing, actually it's like over 40 amazing reasons to be thankful, which is all my beautiful co-authors. Yeah, thank you, Olivia. These bond, this relationship, it is priceless. It is absolutely, absolutely priceless. We reach out not just because of book stuff. We reach out, for personal things, to hang out. I mean, we are real women with real pasts, real advice, real stories. Reach out to us. If you ever need someone to talk to, we're more than happy to listen to. Hopefully, if we're not there, our voices through the pages will come guide you. So thank you, everyone, for your love and support. And thank you, Lisa. Thank you, GBR. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you to all my co-authors. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Janet, for what a generous gift. This book is one that must be in your library. Whether you have kids, grandkids, whoever is your, special person, this will be something that they will cherish. And oh, wow, it's just so wonderful to know that you've given that gift to our viewers tonight. Thank you for that. Grab your copies of both. of Uncover Your Light and The Little Gray Pig. And I'm going to take a picture of you and I, my dear. Let's do this. Yeah, here we go. Got it. Oh, yes. And here we go. Some actually love coming, just flooding the chat for you. Little Gray Pig is so great. I just received my copy last week and love it so much. Absolutely. And oh, we have an update on stats. We're ranked third in happiness and third in motivational. Whoa.
Almost number one.
Oh, let's go. My goodness, the night is young. We still have a couple hours to get up those charts, and what an amazing accomplishment. Number 3 is nothing to sneeze at in those two categories. My goodness, great work, everybody. And thank you to all of our supporters. I mean, it's so perfect that that's coming in now at the end of our live. So close, right, Olivia? So close. Number 1, here we come. Yes, Lisa, Craig, you're right. Thank you for being here and for closing out our live tonight. Janet, you are wonderful writer and friend, and I'm so grateful that you said yes.
Thank you, Lisa.
That 30 seconds of bravery, girl. Love that.
Absolutely.
All right. Good night. Oh, thank you for that message, Michael. Oh my goodness. Thank you for collaborating and bringing these amazing women into our space. These brilliant women who live the warrior's heart for perseverance, accountability, hard work, and consistency for no other reason than to triumph over what has held us back in our journeys and to uncover your light. Thank you for that, Michael. That means the world to me. Wow. Thank you, Siobhan, our volume 2 co-author. Hey, by the way, this is coming your way next week, eh? So get ready for it. The party ain't over yet. And, we have much more to celebrate for our Volume 1 co-authors, but we're going to do it all over again on the 18th for these lovely ladies, these 19 women who have also graced my life and will also hopefully be welcome into your homes. So we are wrapping up tonight. I know we went a bit over our time, but it was so worth it, eh, Olivia? I mean, it was just a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you again, Olivia Vo from Savvy Social Pro, who was our host with the most tonight, with behind the scenes everything. and making sure that all of our graphics and our audio and our video and everything just works seamlessly together. You are such a pro, and we are so grateful that you were with us on this portion of our journey. So help us to become an Amazon bestseller. Yes, friends, we are gearing up to number 1. So close. Like number 3 is this far away from number 1. How exciting is that? Oh, well, it's been a wonderful day full of amazing insights, and I am just so grateful that we were able to do this on Restream with your help in this studio. It was beautiful. So
Indeed. And I just feel so privileged to be let inside, all these women's deep, dark stories and secrets. I mean, the trauma they've carried, and how beautiful to see that there is good on the other side. I think that's what Carol Ward mentioned. And that there is so much to be had, so many lessons to be learned, and children and families coming together to support these women on their writing journey. I was just such a beautiful symphony to see and witness today. So I feel so privileged and honored to be let in on these stories. And I'm still waiting for my copy of the book, but I can't wait to dive in. And guess what? The party's not over, because we're going to recreate this whole thing for volume 2 next week. So bookmark your channels, because it's going to be the same time slots. We're going to do 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern for the afternoon session, and then a special evening edition from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, right? So just bookmark that day.
A week from today.
We are live once again. Bigger, better, bolder, Yeah?
Yes,
Tune. Stay tuned because I'm
absolutely.
sure volume 2 authors are watching and this, and they're like, you know what? We're going to do it better.
Yeah, they're already thinking, okay, this is how it's going to roll. I've got my ideas ready. Well, that's great. This is the beauty of being in community, right? You can learn from each other. And that's something that has really been a constant thread throughout these 18 months from the start of volume 1 anyway until now is uplifting and being there for each other and being lending a helping hand when needed. As Janet said, it's not just about writing stuff that we reach out to each other for, but it's just as human beings, as women on the journey, as friends, and that is a beautiful, beautiful thing to witness. So I want to give my last shout out to my beautiful co-authors, the ones that graced us with their presence here tonight. Of course, they get huge kudos for being brave to come on. It's not easy to do something live, especially when it's out of your realm of normal practice. But I'm so proud of each and every one of you in the afternoon and the evening session for stepping up and just showing us really sharing some of your own journey and experience in a profound and beautiful way. So kudos to all of you. And I'm excited, Olivia, to do this again next week.
Yeah,
Woo! We
I
got to.
must say, it's so beautiful to see women coming together as they are meant to, right? That collective, collaborative, nurturing nature. And also, just I love all the stories of camaraderie that have come out, and the book wives, author wives
Yes.
that formed those relationships too. I thought that was very endearing. And I just want to mention too, like, I've been hearing all the stories, and so many of them admitted that they felt like not worthy or didn't have a story to tell. But what a change, what a transformation that your writing program has offered them, this experience, this moment in time. They could really pay tribute to their inner soul.
Oh, thank you. That was a beautiful way of phrasing it. Wow, to pay tribute to their soul. It's, that inner voice and your true nature, your light that is resides within you. It can, because of circumstance, be muted. But what I found is that the writing process unearths so much beauty in that darkness, and it brings up things for us that we might not have otherwise been able to face. And that has been my experience. I really wanted with these books to pass on that experience to other women. So I'm incredibly grateful that that is how they feel coming out the other end.
Absolutely. And like, it doesn't stop here, Lisa. You already got the next writing program in the works starting November.
I do. I have a wonderful concept that kind of came to me as a download. These things, they don't happen by accident. I've said that so many times tonight, and it's true. The idea for Uncover Your Light came in a vision of sorts. And also earlier this year, I realized that I didn't want the party to end. And although these books were coming to a close as far as the writing process, I felt that there was a lot I had to share with people who wanted to write their stories but didn't know where to start. And so I created something called Claim Your Voice Writing Community. And it's a place where women and men, whoever feels called really, to find a community that will nurture and guide them through those writing blocks. Because believe me, they certainly will occur. It's a given that any writer will face. And I know the 39 women I worked with on these 2 volumes can attest to that. But being able to do it in community is the secret sauce. And so I'm thrilled to bring my second cohort of this program to life starting in November. If this sounds like it might be something for you, I encourage you to just connect with me. Oh, thank you. Olivia has put the info link right there on the screen, and or just reach out to me on socials, and we can have a conversation to see if it's something that would be a fit for you. But I'm really grateful and blessed that it's something I feel I want so much to continue this passion for guiding people through finding their writer's voice. And that's what we're doing starting in November.
So wonderful. So we'll wrap this up. We've got a closing outro clip for all of you to enjoy, and we'll see you all here next week for volume 2.
Next week. Thanks,
It's
Olivia.
coming. It's coming any day now.